Hi, this is me, Alexandher Brandy, out of drag. I'm going to be talking to you about contouring masculine and feminine faces. So we're going to do masculine on this side, feminine on this side, and yeah, let's build it up together. Let's do it. So I've already started with my primer and foundation, and then we're going to build up the shapes on top of there. The first things to remember is that masculine faces usually are a lot more square, and feminine faces are usually a lot more round. So we're going to build from there, and let's do it. So I like to contour pretty much my entire face with a small round brush. I just like doing this, and then I might use a bigger one to blend everything out later on. We're going to use a regular contour palette. This one here is the NYX Highlight and Contour Pro palette. So we're going to build on a base face, and you can mix it up. Just remember, you contour with darker colors and you highlight with lighter colors. So when you're building a masculine jaw shape, usually what you want to do is you want to find your jawbone. Mine is about here, and I started doing drag and I would draw it underneath my jawbone, but I like to draw it just under the very highest point now. And I'll go in and I'll just draw that line in nice and dark, and don't worry about how dark it is, we're going to blend it out later. So we're going to start, and then you're going to, using your hand and having it underneath the jaw like that, you're just going to bring it across and down. And then see how that brings your jawbone up and helps elongate your face. And now on the feminine side, what we're going to do is we're going to hold it a bit more round, and we're just going to round it out. So starting at the same spot, but we're going to go down first and then back up and around the cheekbone. And then again, we're just going to blend that out. So you can see here I've got a nice high cheekbone, and then over here I've got one that comes nice and down, and this side squares it out and this side makes it nice and round. So I'm just going to blend out these two sides, and we'll be back in a few seconds. So again, we're going to take our small little brush, and the next thing we're going to work on is the temple area. So this is why I usually use a smaller brush. We're going to use a bigger brush on the feminine side for the temples. But if you look at a masculine face shape, you'll notice that everything is a lot more square up here. So I like to find this nice highlight zone, which is a lot easier to find now that I'm on testosterone because it comes out naturally. I'm just going to follow it up into my hairline like that, blend that out, and again on the other side. And one thing that you really want to note is that this side should be significantly darker than the other side. So let's grab a bigger brush and blend those out. So now on a nice round feminine side, we want a bigger brush. I like to use one of these. It's a contour brush. And then I round it out by making the forehead look nice and small. So I'm just blending in a darker color in sort of a 3 motion around the edges of my face. Now for the nose, we're going to try and make the bridge nice and wide. And so we want to bring the brush as far out on the outer side as we possibly can. And again, this is for the masculine side. And because I have no brows, I like to kind of start to give myself a bit of a brow bone there. And then I've got a very round nose, which is actually a very feminine feature. So I'm going to start to square that out a little bit. So I'm going to darken also around this crease on my nose. The reason I follow what's already there is only to make sure that you can kind of still see that everything in the area and vicinity is drag focused. Because if you darken this part of your nose, then not having something dark around the outer corner as well is not going, it's just going to kind of flesh you out a bit. And then the final thing I like to do in the nose area when I'm doing more of a masculine face is grab this brush and very, very gently start to build upwards towards a brow bone. And then I square it out. And again, you're just going to use a very, very gentle hand with this. This is one of those things that just takes a lot of practice. especially to make it look a bit more natural. So I'm just gonna blend this out and we'll be back to do the feminine side of the nose. So I'm gonna start with this angled flathead brush over here. And I'm just gonna start building in the feminine side of the nose. So a lot of the times, especially with drag, you want your nose to be very pointed at the end. And so I'm gonna find the center point down near the bottom, and I'm just gonna build my way up. And then once I have that line all in there, I'm just gonna go ahead and take my smaller brush and blend it out. All right, so now that that's blended out, I'm just gonna bring down this contour, and usually what I'll do is I'll actually use the blush in this section here, but right now we're just gonna start with the contour, and then I like to build the blush up over top of it. So if we do a 50-50, you'll notice that this side of the face, again, looks a lot more square, whereas this side of the face looks a lot more rounded. So that there is the very quick and easy basics of how to get a masculine versus a feminine face. I'll be back in 2 seconds of your time, and I'll show you what it looks like when everything is finished together. And there you have it, a quick and easy drag look on either side to show you what the differences are with the contouring. So as you can see here, this side is nice and long and square, and on this side I've kept things very elevated and round. So make sure you show us your hashtag genderless drag looks with our hashtag show your drag challenge. All right, we're gonna cut back to Scarlett BoBo right now, but thank you so much for having me, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Mwah. Stay safe.